never living in Canada again.
We get asked this question all the time. What will you do when you get too old to travel? Will you move back to Canada? Well, after 3 months of being here, we can tell you we will never move back to Canada again.
Crime is worse. Costs are through the roof. Politics, they're an absolute mess. And the Canada we knew has been left behind by so many other countries.
So don't worry about us. We're not coming back. And here is why.
The reality check after 3 months in Canada.
And here's the thing, this isn't just our opinion. The cost of living in Canada is now one of the highest in the world. We've been to over 30 countries, and in most of them, our money goes so much further.
And then there is the way people are treated. Just yesterday, we were at the passport office here in Victoria, and we spent 2.5 hours waiting only to be treated so rudely by the staff. That might sound small, but it's part of a bigger pattern that is happening. There is the lack of respect, the lack of service, and the feeling of Canadians just feeling worn down.
Clearing the air.
Okay, a lot of you will remember we did a video not too long ago, and we listed Canada as our #1 pick. A lot of our viewers were left confused by this. Some of you were actually quite upset.
So let's clear that up. We meant Canada was #1 to visit, not to live.
There is definitely no denying Canada is beautiful in the summer.
But visiting Canada and living here are two completely different experiences. As a visitor, you get the scenery, the lakes, the mountains, without the taxes, housing costs, and daily stress that residents have to deal with every single day.
If you have a lot of money and you come in the summertime, Canada is an incredible destination. But for us, it's no longer a place we choose to live year-round.
The 2 million net worth comparison.
Canadian resident homeowner versus Canadian non-resident no home.
Okay, let's break this down. Let's say you're Canadian, you've worked hard your whole life, you've lived within your means, and now you've sold your home and you've got $2 million invested.
If you stay in Canada, you are paying some of the highest taxes in the world. Dividends, capital gains, retirement income, they are all taxed so heavily. Not to mention the ever-increasing cost of home ownership.
But if you sell your home, invest the proceeds, and then become a Canadian non-resident like we did, you will invest in a diversified global portfolio where you may legally avoid paying Canadian income tax altogether.
So, By selling your Canadian home and giving up your residency, you will gain about $150,000 more per year. That's enough to live in an amazing home just about anywhere in the world, with everyday costs often just a fraction of what they'd be in Canada.
Why we'll never settle in Canada again. After seeing so many different countries, we realized something. Canada is being left behind in infrastructure, in affordability, and in the quality of life.
In the dark, far from the highway, far from the start, in a storm.
And this isn't about hating Canada. It's about recognizing that the dream we were sold growing up doesn't exist anymore. High taxes, high prices, high stress, and no real plan to fix it.
We have options, you have options. And you don't have to settle for the status quo of being told it's the Canadian way.
Our plan for when we stop traveling.
And you're right, we're not going to be on the road forever. But we're using our travel now to research possible future homes. We're looking at places with better weather, lower costs, and a higher quality of life.
Like Portugal, Mexico, Australia, Thailand, and on and on.
But one thing's for sure, it won't be Canada unless, of course, things in Canada change drastically. But we're not holding our breath. So, have you seen any valid proposals to turn Canada's economy around? If you were calling the shots, what changes might you make?
That said, we'll absolutely come back to visit Canada, although always in the summertime. We'll come back to visit family, friends, some of our favorite spots, but to live here full time is not in our plans.
The bigger message.
Our message is simple. You don't have to stay somewhere just because it's what you've always done. The thing is, the world is a lot bigger than that.
And the life you've been promised in Canada, for so many people, it's not turning out the way they were told. There are other paths, other countries, other ways to live better and end up keeping more of what you've earned.
So what about you? If you didn't have to live in Canada, where would you choose to live? Drop us a line in the comments below and we read all of them.
And if you want to see exactly how we invest and keep more of our money as non-residents, we've linked a few videos right here. Don't settle for less. You've got more options than you think.
So, guess what? If you didn't think subscribing meant a difference, it does. If you didn't think leaving a comment makes a difference, it does. So become part of the conversation and make a difference.
So how's your beer?
Well, now that I got some ice in it, it's nice and, well, it was cold before, but it's perfect now. Nothing better after a nice nice long hike and a nice cold beer.
Well, and
Shipwreck
cheers to two.
Cheers.
in the dark, far from the
There's
highway,
Mount Finlayson up there.
far from
We got
the
Jack,
sight.
Matt, and Mama.
In a storm,
We made it!
Yay! Sure did.
I lost my sails,
Where are you guys heading?
I lost all
Matt.
direction,
Where,
got caught
where are we
in
going?
the veil.
Jack? Where are we going,
I
boss?
didn't know